Holistic Health Harry Alkalize to Realize talk show. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Tim Daly. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just great. Thank you, Harry.
Awesome. I connected with you recently. You come on my Facebook, and I've got to know you, speak to you more personally on Skype, and I thought it'd be brilliant to have you for an interview because you've got an amazing story, and I'd love for you to share your information with us today. So, with that being said, Tim, can we start at the beginning of how you've come into the community?
The community of health.
Yes, indeed. Yes, sir. Into health.
Well, I think it all started when I decided to be at about age 19 or 20 that I was tired of being a lazy bum watching TV all the time, and I wanted to start taking more care of myself. So around 19 or 20 years of age, I took swimming lessons because I didn't know how to swim. I started running and started doing calisthenics and things at home. So that's how my health journey began, was about that age, 20, 21. And then as time progressed, I just continued that with going to the gym, doing weightlifting, and but mostly swimming and running up until my 30s, around age 30 or so. As far as yoga and those kind of health practices, I started getting exposed to that when I decided to become a massage therapist. I went to school and got a license to become a massage therapist, and that opened up a whole new world of health practices. I started doing yoga and learning about the body and its processes. I'm trying to remember, that was probably like around 1990, 91, 92, right around there, I would suppose. And so I really got serious about yoga in the early 90s. And I was taking classes mainly at the gym yoga class. Then I started taking classes with a woman who went from the gym setting to her own studio. And then after that, I found another studio here in town that I really liked, and I'd go every Saturday for classes. But the thing that really opened up my yoga practice and changed it for the rest of my life was a 1-week retreat in Hawaii that was sponsored by Castro Yoga, a San Francisco yoga school or studio. And so I signed up for that and went to Hawaii and did two classes of yoga a day, getting up really early. And so that really solidified my practice, and I learned a lot from that experience. After that, I was kind of in and out of yoga classes. I wrote these things down because I'm not really good at remembering times and dates and stuff, but probably right around 2000, 2008, right around there. I wasn't practicing regularly, but I started having health problems. I actually took a yoga class and started noticing that I was having a hard time moving. And I was having this pain shooting down from my neck all the way down to my toes.
Right. How old are you at this point? You're having this 2008, so you'd have been how old?
In my 50s, I think, yeah. Right around 50 years old or so. And I'm 61 right now, for reference. So I went to various doctors, got lots of tests, found out that I had an impinged nerve in my cervical spine, and I had what's called bone spurs in my spine. So I had surgery, and then recovering from that, I did some yoga, of course, and then I found out that I had, then I started having other symptoms, some rigidness in my walking, difficulty. I would trip, and I would notice that my arm would be stuck in kind of a strange position as I was walking. So I went and had more tests done. Finally, a doctor, a neurologist who specializes in Parkinson's, diagnosed me with Parkinson's disease. And so that was about 2014, year 20. So do the math. I'm not good at math.
Yeah, 5 years ago now. 5 years.
Yeah. So in the meantime, just before that, I somehow became interested in, I'm not sure if this interview I can say these things, but in Taoist practices.
Yes, I can. Yeah. Yes.
Mainly as taught by Mantak Chia. So I found a teacher online who had lots of videos on YouTube and also taught classes, um, sessions on Skype, on individual sessions. So I started studying with him and
Mm.
learning sorts of qigong, sexual mastery practices, and various other things that he taught me. And so
Was this
that
before the was this motivated by the Parkinson's, did you say, or did you say it was before and you had interest in it, you were doing it before?
started before the Parkinson's
Okay.
diagnosis, before the cervical surgery.
Mm.
So I learned a lot from that, and that really made me more aware of my body doing that. But
Mm.
I wasn't really dedicated. I wasn't really practicing on a regular basis
Yeah.
uh, up until about probably um, about a year ago is when I started doing exercises daily.
Mm.
So that's kind of the basic outline of how things have gone. But the qigong, especially I think the qigong and the mantak chia
Yeah.
practices have really helped me uh, stay on top of my disease process. Last visit I had with my neurologist, I see her every 3 months, and she said that it was amazing that in the 5 or 6 years that I've been diagnosed, that I really have not gotten any worse. And she says that's really unusual. And
Mm.
I attribute a lot of that to the fact that I'm doing the qigong and the yoga every day,
Yeah.
and it makes me more aware of my body, helps me with my balance,
Mm.
helps me with my gait, my walking, and just little tricks that I have taught myself. Like one of the symptoms of Parkinson's disease is to have this sort of stoop where I walk like this.
Mm.
And so every so often I have to remind myself to look up. I say to myself, look up, Tim, look up.
Yeah.
Beat that over and over again throughout the day, which helps me to keep my head up and my spine straight so that I'm not stooping like this. Because what happens if you walk around like that all the time, then you basically freeze. Your spine freezes into that position with Parkinson's.
Ah.
It becomes really rigid. So those things have really made a huge difference in my life.
That is fascinating information. So yeah, that you mentioned something really key there as well. Like when you lock yourself in the position of a bad position that Parkinson's naturally puts you in, you stay in it. Isn't that like what we're saying with exercise? When you exercise the body to its full expression with yoga and qigong, then you kind of help it out of these situations of like a stooped back and a poor spine from I had depression, not serious, but you know it's a bad spine. So these practices really help us realign our spine into our natural state, isn't it? The qigong and yoga.
Very much so. I kind of, as far as my yoga practice goes, it's very much influenced by Iyengar yoga,
Oh yeah.
who was very conscious of proper alignment was the
Mhm.
emphasis of Iyengar yoga. And I think that's been a um, good for me because I do focus on my alignment to get it correct. Maybe more if I had done more flow, it probably would have helped with my movement. But I'm so slow now, slow and kind of rigid that I really can't do. I think it's Ashtanga yoga that has more of a flow to it than
Yeah.
I am. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So I have a hard time doing Ashtanga yoga classes.
Mm.
Oh, I forgot to mention that I actually about just a year or so before my Parkinson's diagnosis, but after my cervical surgery, uh, I hired a personal yoga teacher.
Ah.
So I had him come over at least twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month, to the house who would do um, yoga with me in person at
Mm.
home here. And that was amazing because he could spend a lot of time with me, teaching me the asana and proper alignment, and especially after the Parkinson's started taking effect, it was very helpful having him help me get into positions.
Yeah, so you're already motivated doing it by yourself, but yeah, having a teacher there must have really helped you with, like you said, the Iyengar is very much in like perfect alignment, and that's really actually something that is advisable to actually get a teacher with, to make sure you are trying your best with your version of perfect alignment.
Right. When you're in a class, I know the teachers usually try to go around and assist, they put their hands on uh, students to help them in alignment, but they don't have time to go to every student. But this way, with a personal trainer there with me, time to have his hands on me whenever I needed it. He was focused on me. Unfortunately, it's very expensive, so I can't really afford to. I'm not doing it right now, but I'm saving some money. But it's a really.
But I'm sure you're taking away the lessons, so he teaches you how to do it right, and then you practice it by yourself, right? I'm sure it's like that, isn't it? You don't need them every single day. Once they pick up on your traits, and you can work on them by yourself. So I'm sure it's like that.
There's some routines like flow routines and asana that I had never done before that he taught me, and I'm still using those every day because they work really well in keeping my Parkinson's from advancing.
Yeah. Here's an interesting question, and I'd like to know this. Is, in your opinion, Qigong or yoga? I don't want to put you on a spot. Which one's more powerful for you in terms of helping the Parkinsons and helping you feel good? Because they're both, I've heard, good.
I can't say, I've tried to do just one or the other, and it just doesn't work. And it takes a lot of time in the morning, so I get up really early in the morning to get all this done. But both seem to go hand in hand and complement each other, and both seem to be necessary to keep my Parkinson's at bay.
Yeah. Okay. So if someone was looking into Qigong, where would you recommend? Did you start with YouTube videos, or did you get someone to help you with that Qigong?
Teacher that I was talking about, Lauren Johnson is his name. I can't remember how I ran across his website, but he's on YouTube. He has a couple of different websites that he does a practice on. He lives in Palm Springs, and so he taught me a lot of the qigong. Like shaking, tapping, uh, the various moves like hugging a tree, and you're familiar with qigong.
Kind of not actually. That's why I asked you the question too. If it's for me, because people are telling me I never tried qigong, and people are telling me it's more powerful than yoga, and it's on my mind that I need to start getting into qigong daily, as well as yoga. So.
Yeah, maybe like me, try both. Put a little both in the same. I do a little yoga first. I do. So every morning, my yoga practice starts with sun salutations, then a couple other asanas. So it takes about 15 minutes to do what I have to do. I like to go longer on my days off if I can, but on my work days when I have to be to work, I do about 15 minutes of yoga, and then I do the qigong that Lauren taught me. It starts with 4 core exercises, and the first one is pranayama, where I do various breathing exercises like alternate nostril breathing. Fire. I think sometimes it's called fire breath. Sometimes it's called
Kapalbhati, maybe Kapalbhati.
Yeah, that's it. So that starts with that, and then alternate nostril breathing. So I do pranayama as the first core exercise. The second one is actually I don't remember what it's called, but it's a spinal an exercise to wake up the spine, where you're moving your hands towards your body like this and thrusting your hips forward, and then you just move the spine the opposite way. So you're going forward and then back. So you're moving the spine back and forth, trying to keep the head straight. So that's the second one. And the third one is shaking. Shaking is a lot of fun. You can do whatever you want. Sometimes you combine shaking and tapping, where I'm shaking is also tapping my body. Usually I stand in what's called horse stance. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I am. With that one, yes, I do.
Okay, so I'm standing in horse stance, which is a qigong practice. So I'm standing in horse stance, but shaking my body as much as possible to relax, and then tapping. Usually tap all over my body, and then I tap my 5 organs, the 5 organ system that you're probably familiar with.
Okay, cool. Well, no, I'm not. Yeah, cool. Interesting. I'll check it out.
Okay, the 5 organ system. It comes from Chinese medicine. They use it in acupuncture. It corresponds with the meridians. So you probably will talk about kidney meridian and liver meridian, and those are the 5 organ systems. So I'm tapping my kidneys to start with, then I'm tapping my liver, over where my liver is.
How do you tap them? With your fists like this, or
Fist,
tap
you can use
fist?
your flat hand, or I use my fist usually.
Okay.
Or you can use a flat hand, whatever, or you can even just use fingertips if you want to, like
And what are
tapping
the
it.
5 organs? Liver, kidneys. You said. What would the other ones be?
Liver, kidney. See if I can remember from my shiatsu classes as a massage therapist.
Hmm.
Starts with kidneys, the best one to start with, then liver,
Yeah.
then heart,
Heart. Okay. Yeah.
heart, and then what's after heart? Spleen,
Spleen. Okay. Hmm.
and then lungs.
Ah.
Of
Okay.
course, in Chinese medicine, those major organs are paired with other organs. So, for example, with the kidney, you have the bladder. So that's the water organ system
Mm-hmm.
associated with water. Kidneys and bladder associated with water, the color blue, the emotions of calmness, and the opposite of calm is fear.
Mm-hmm.
Liver is paired with gallbladder.
Mm-hmm.
Heart is paired with small intestine. Spleen is paired with stomach and pancreas. And the lungs are paired with large intestine. And so if you get acupuncture on a regular basis, you'll hear those organs mentioned. You might have weakness in your kidney or too much energy or something like that, and your acupuncturist will talk about that. And that brings up another really important thing that Lauren has taught me as part of my Qigong practice, that each of the organ systems are associated with emotions. And so doing this shaking and tapping helps to release those negative emotions. That's a really important thing for me, especially um, anxiety. I was having a lot of anxiety at work, and anxiety is another one of the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. It just gets, so being able to release those negative emotions has helped me to control my anxiety, as well as breathing exercises and meditation.
Yeah, this is fascinating information, Tim, and it's nice to be reminded. I forgot didn't know the 5 ones were connected. Yes, you're right. Fear in the kidneys. I've heard of this traditional and I believe it's true. Anger in the liver, grief in the lungs. I think. I don't know all of them. Spleen is pensiveness. So yeah, this is great
Yes,
information.
for overthinking,
Mm,
worry, those kind of things. Yeah.
definitely.
See, I know you've read a lot of Mantak Chia, and he talks about this a lot in his books.
Indeed, it's all linked. That was actually my next question. So you attribute, you say, to your Parkinson's and to managing on such a great level. You're attributing a couple of things: yoga, qigong, and also sexual health mastery. Can we ask what specific? Can we go into a little detail of when we talk about Mantak Chi and sexual health mastery for gentlemen? What practices are you doing? Can you explain to us what is it you're doing and how is that helping? Do you know how it's helping your condition?
A lot of it is the transmutation and sublimation of the sexual energy into whatever area of my body needs attention, and to the say for example, I wake up in the morning with stiffness in my neck or my arm. I might do the sexual mastery exercises, or raising the sexual energy, uh, and then transmuting that sexual energy into a different chemical process, and then moving it to the body, the area of my body that's having bad symptoms, so that I'm treating my body and my mind with the sexual energy, instead of using that sexual energy to have sex with or
Yeah.
to release with.
Mhm.
I'm not releasing. I'm not releasing semen.
Yeah.
I'm retaining it, and then taking that energy, transmuting it, and then sublimating it into a chemical in my body that helps heal.
Wow. Yeah,
Does
this
that,
is fascinating information. Yeah, you're right.
does that make any sense to you?
To me, it does absolutely. I'm trying to think for the audience point of view. Yeah. So you're saying that retention and so sexual energy is something that shouldn't be released. Well, it can be released, but if you release it, you're saying it's kind of a waste and you can't use it as medicine. And then if what you're doing is you're keeping it in, your sexual energy medicine and using it as like a homing missile to go and heal areas of the body that are weak inside your system.
Body or mind, yes. And I wouldn't say that releasing sexual energy, having an ejaculation, whatever, with a partner or alone, whatever, is a waste. I wouldn't use that word,
Mm,
because there's a time and a place for to ejaculate when
Right.
the practice of retaining that and using that to heal the body or to not necessarily heal a problem. Those who are perfectly healthy can use it to improve their performance, to make them more. They can use it for their mind, to creativity or something like that. So it's not just for healing sickness; it's for improving one's life, one's mind, becoming more creative, using that sexual energy rather than letting it out.
Absolutely, I think that's the position I find myself in. I'm fortunate enough not to have a disease. I had depression, and that's what came in the community for. But I mean, I don't have a disease, and I just enjoy so much the sexual health that I'm coming to, and I will master or get better at every single day of my life now for the rest of. Like, I'm 32 years old, so I'm very excited for the potentials of what Mantok Chia and other. It's not just Mantok Chia. There's other people talking about it, and it's just your own energy, I guess, Tim. It's our own energy, so powerful within our body that it can go and heal. And we've not been told this by doctors and pharmaceutical companies. There's no interest in them telling you can heal yourself with your own sexual energy.
Nobody wants to talk about sex. It's taboo. It's like, I'm surprised Skype, if they're listening to us right now, that they're not cutting us off because people are afraid to talk about sex. But sex is part of life. It's part of our body's process, and it's the most powerful energy that exists in our bodies. And if we can actually, like the Taoists have learned to do, to learn to take that energy and rather than spill it and to retain it, keep it, and then transmute it into something that's useful to us, it's very powerful and helpful.
Absolutely. So we know you're doing a lot of things for your health, and you're in a fabulous condition, which you attribute to all the things that you're doing, your health protocols you've come to. What do you think your state would be if you weren't on these protocols, if you were down the route of what was intended for? What was intended for you in terms? Was it just drugs they were going to give you? What was the plan?
Yeah, and I still do take medications, and they're
Okay.
helpful. I take two
Mhm.
specific medications for Parkinson's.
Mhm.
Um, but I've been on the same medications for like 2 years now with no changes, which my neurologist is just amazed that
Mhm.
that's the case.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I would be taking probably more medication, which I don't like I hate to take pills because I don't know if you know, I'm a nurse.
Mhm.
That's my career.
Yeah.
So I, I know that over 50% of hospitalizations are because of medication problems.
Right. Mhm.
And so drugs are not the answer. Prescriptions are just not the answer to healing.
Mhm.
There are so many other ways: diet, exercise, qigong, yoga, uh,
Mhm.
all the practices that you are doing, like urine therapy and
Mhm.
sun gazing,
Mhm.
those kind of things
Which I
can
was going to
really.
touch base with whilst you were just saying that. I was thinking, I just remembered that you also now have dabbled a little bit into these things that you've just mentioned, sun gazing and urine therapy. So, do you want to go there and tell us a little bit about your experiences with them so far?
Well, I've been quite surprised with the urine therapy that every time I go to drink it, I get this creepy feeling like, oh my God, I can't do this. It's gonna be awful, but it's not.
Mm.
In fact, it actually tastes good. My
Oh,
urine
right.
tastes fantastic.
Mm.
So and I haven't had any negative. The first
Mm.
day I had a headache.
Mm.
Uh, Other than that, haven't had any negative symptoms whatsoever with it. Um, I find that it actually does. This may sound kind of strange. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but it actually, after I drink it, it actually does
Mm.
increase my libido.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Mhm.
Have you ever experienced that?
I can't say. Yes, actually, with age urine, yes, yes, I have. You made me think there, though. Yeah, that's a very interesting symptom. So you feel more sexually active and aroused, and you're just more dynamic with the urine.
Definitely, yes. So that's the main symptoms I've had so far. I thought about I have a red spot on my arm. I have very fair skin, and
Mm-hmm.
so I get sun damage quite easily. I have a red spot on my arm. I thought about starting to put urine on that. I did once a
Mm-hmm.
couple days ago, but I've forgotten to do it again. So I
Okay.
need to be more dedicated and try that. See if urine will actually help that red spot go away.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just right now I'm just drinking it,
Yeah.
and I have tons of questions that I need to get your book so I can first read up on it, and then if the book doesn't answer my questions, I'll be bothering you with lots of
Sure.
questions, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm so glad and pleased that we could help get you into this wonderful therapy. And you're saying that you're getting results already, that you're getting increased libido and more energy as well. Your sexual energy is your energy, so that's fabulous. And it definitely did for me. It woke me up from my depression, fresh urine. And then of course, Tim, we talk about aged urine too, which is even more powerful. So your journey is long, exciting, and here's the thing, slow, because you've got to. We don't rush people. People at their own pace do it slowly. Because I don't learn lessons if I rush into things. I do things slow. So I hope that I'm sure you are. You're taking your time with these things too.
I'm very slow. I wouldn't say I'm not a slow learner. I'm intelligent, but I'm slow at adopting new things
Yeah.
because I'm the kind of person that has to wrap my head around something first. I know a lot of people just go with their gut and think,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's interesting," and they just jump in and start trying new things. I have
Yes.
to
Yeah.
understand it first, read about it first, and
Mm.
study it first before I can move on and actually try something.
How did you get wrap your head around urine therapy then?
Well, that's, interesting. That's one of the first things that I just jumped into without thinking about it very much.
Okay.
Um, so I don't, I, it just felt right.
Mm.
And hearing you so often on Facebook talk
Mm.
about it, I just thought I just gotta try this and take. Uh, I mean, uh, the intake of urine was not something that was foreign to me as an idea.
Mm.
Some people do it for recreation.
Yeah.
It's a fetish of some people. So
Yeah.
the idea of doing that was not foreign to me.
Mm.
So anyway, I do have a book, not your book yet. I'm going to finish that book really fast on urine therapy. I'm about halfway through it
What
now.
book is it, by the way? What book is it?
Um, can't remember. It's a,
Mhm.
Here it is over here. Pardon me. The Golden Fountain.
Oh yeah, by Vanderkoon. Yeah, good book.
Yeah, Vander Kroon. Yes.
Mm.
So I'm about halfway through that right now. After I finish that, then I'll read your book.
Mm. Yeah, it's fascinating. This is a lesson to the audience that if you're promoting urine therapy, keep doing it because people like Tim are saying that it does. We do plant seeds in the people. You were ready for it, Tim. You were just ready. You said you jumped right in. You were in that situation where, hey, listen, I want to improve my health. So yeah, we should always never stop, keep quiet, and always promote what is works for us, even if people think it's ridiculous. And you're going to get a little slack from people. It's okay. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and let's transition quickly to I want to talk about sun gazing too. So, what's your experience with sun gazing?
I haven't really figured that one out yet. I need to. I don't want to look. I'm trying to look not directly at the sun, but look below it or above it to the each side. Um, the main thing for me right now, sun gazing consists of like I said, staring below the sun just for a second, a few seconds, like 30 seconds, then above it, then to the right and to the left. Um, but the most important thing to me right now is, and I include this in sun gazing for me, is just getting my skin exposed to the sun
Right. Yes.
for a few minutes every day. I don't stay out in the sun for a long time because of my fair skin,
Mm.
but just a few minutes of skin exposure I think is really important for maintaining vitamin D,
Yeah.
and it really helps my energy. I mean, at work sometimes my office is in the basement of the hospital.
Mm.
So we get no sun, no light whatsoever except the fluorescent lights, which is just awful
Yeah.
on your mind. And so I run up when hopefully there's some sunshine. I live in Oregon, and there's not in the wintertime it's gray a lot, but on a day that there's some sunshine, I'll run upstairs and just go outside for just a few minutes and just stare at the sun,
Yeah.
and it really improves my energy level and my mood.
Mm. Yeah. I was thinking of it today. Like even under clouds, Tim, when the clouds are really dark grey like say there's like a just all dark gray and my mood goes down, but then sometimes there'll be like a light cloud, so it's still all clouds, but a light cloud will come through and the sun comes through it, and I can see the shifts in the light, and my mood just even though the clouds are there still, my mood just switches and transforms because it's just like a little bit more light, and I'm like, whoa, the sun is so powerful. It's still cloudless, there's still clouds everywhere, but it's just the difference in light and changes my mood like in a second. It's crazy to me.
That's interesting. Yeah, you're right. There's different thicknesses of clouds, and as if you take time to really pay attention.
It's so powerful, and that changes my mood in a second. I wonder what it does long term, even a couple of minutes, like how much is changing our mood. If it changes my mood in a few seconds, I wonder what it's doing for our health, like in a couple of minutes. A lot of good things to me, a lot of good things.
The sun rays are very important to us, very important to our bodies and our mood and our minds.
Yeah, I'm so pleased that you're committed to the sun, the fire, and getting. And I think the message here for people as well is that it isn't necessarily about, oh, I'm outside in the sun for 3 hours a day. It's more like, hey, doing it as much as you can within a space of time. So instead of concentrating because you don't have a lot of time, you're a busy person, go and get a couple of minutes a lot of times. That would do a lot. Like a couple of minutes in like every hour or 2 hours is very powerful if you keep doing that.
Definitely, yeah. I've always loved to be outside. The reason I have skin problems now is because as a young person, I was outside as much as possible because I love being outside, and I would take my clothes off whenever I had the opportunity to do so, to go to the nude beach or whatever, because I just love the energy of the sun and how it feels, how it makes me feel.
Yeah. I definitely look forward to your experiments. Keep me informed on how things going with urine on your skin, because that cures, or I'm sure as you're aware, it's very easily cures skin diseases. It's specialties, urine and skin. They've got a good combination too.
I'm not quite sure how to go about doing that yet. I mean, do you do it before you go to bed, or because I'm worried about the smell or whatever?
Of your own fresh urine? Nope, your fresh urine would be the same as you know, it tastes good for you. It will be the same. It won't smell. Fresh urine never smells. Aged urine does. So your fresh urine won't smell, and it absorbs into the skin very quickly and easily because it's got urea in it. So it doesn't even stick around like water and splodge around. It actually absorbs. And no smell, Tim. There's no smell from fresh urine. No one ever, as far as I'm aware, has reported ever a smell from their fresh urine when it goes on the skin.
So one could put it on before going to work in the morning and not worry about smelling funny?
Yeah, absolutely. No, you won't smell at all, but you will with aged urine. But fresh urine, no. Fresh urine, it will never smell. It doesn't matter how much you put on. So, yeah, and your skin will glow even more than normal, and you will look young, for sure.
I'm told that I glow anyway, but it's always nice to glow more.
Yeah, well, you do actually, and we were talking to the first conversation we had privately. That I was looking at you and thinking, wow, you look young for your age, and we're attributing a lot of that to all the things you're doing, and also the sexual energy medicine is just going around your system and making you glow. You know, all these things, qigong, yoga, and the sexual energies, like transforming your image to much more youthful than your age would belie, right?
I think so. Yeah, I find myself to be much to feel. I mean, I feel pretty good for an old guy.
Yeah. Yeah, you look good too. Yeah, it's good. Good stuff. All right, so just to conclude, I would like to ask you if there's anything that we haven't covered bases with that you would like to relay to the audience as a final message.
I can't think of anything, no.
Okay, and how can people find you, Tim? Are you up for sharing your knowledge and with other people, or do you have a Facebook? Do you want people to add you on Facebook, or?
I'm on Facebook. Would be a good way to contact me. I wouldn't want to give out my personal phone number and all that, but I'm on Facebook as Tim Daily. Daily is Daily.
Cool.
So easy to find. And yeah, welcome to message me on Facebook, ask me questions. I'm open to that.
Awesome, and I'll tag you when the video comes out on my YouTube and my Facebook, so people could definitely add you for sure if they're interested in they have similar. I think a lady messaged me when I posted up about you with she said, oh, someone they know is having Parkinson's, so I thought she might have messaged you or should be interested. People like that would be interested, so it's good to get the information out there.
Yeah, with Parkinson's disease, it can be everybody manifests different symptoms with Parkinson's. Parkinson's doesn't look the same with any one person, any two persons. And so it's really important that each individual with Parkinson's disease follow whatever feels right to them. So what I'm doing may not work for them, they need to maybe adjust and do something a little differently. But these body this body work, this like qigong and yoga, tai chi. I tried tai chi, I just couldn't. I wasn't coordinated enough to do it. But studies have found that Parkinson's patients that do tai chi do stay healthy longer by doing the tai chi. They don't fall and things like that. So very important to keeping the symptoms at bay and keeping from advancing.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you very much, Tim, for sharing all the information and being so willing to come and talk to us and relay this fabulous information. I wish you on your journey. We'll keep in contact and stay inspired by yourself. I'm learning a lot from you. I need to rewatch this video myself on the Qigong practices. So I don't know about anyone else. So yeah, keep in contact. And if you've got any messages to me, we can talk privately as well. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching Holistic Health Harry Alcal's Talk Show with Tim Daly.